Hello YouTube, this is William. The day has arrived. I've been getting a lot of requests when they can get certain models. So there's 4 of them that's going to be released as of this video. Now before you run off to any website, let me just say, please watch this video and through this in entirety. It's going to be a little lengthy, but there's some information here that will probably be helpful. I may drop some pearls of wisdom here, or experience anyway. These are going to be different than the normal run. I alluded to a new way of doing things, or a new option, or in my last 2-week update. And for those who don't know, I provide 2-week updates, video updates every 2 weeks as to where production is, where we're looking at for the next foreseeable future as far as production and knife models and things like that on this channel. So if you're not subscribed, then please do so, and click the bell for notifications. But anyway, as everybody knows, that I'm about 300 to 400 back ordered at most times. And as I've said in previous videos, this year is to clear the books and to get what's back ordered done. And then we're going to try and see where we go from there. Great Northern Knives has offered a option, and these 4 is going to be the first ones that we try in this partnership. Okay, basically what that is these 4 knives are going to be listed on Great Northern's website for pre-order. Okay, just like as if it was on my website. The pricing will be the same as if it was on my website. There's no price increases, and that's for several reasons. And I'll go through those reasons right now. Primarily is they have a knife shop, and they're not going to do my grinds, okay? The blades will be done here in my shop. I will be doing the water jet on the blanks. I will be doing the grinds. I will be doing the heat treat. I will be doing everything up to and the laser etching this point, okay? See the laser etching? This is a finished Master Sloyd blade, okay? It's laser etched. This will be shipped to Great Northern Knives, and they will put the handle on, they will set the handle according to my specs, okay? My handle designs will go on these knives. You will not know that it was not done in this shop, okay? That frees me up to grind more blades, all right? So they have the personnel to handle that. They have CNC machines, if we get to that point, to do a lot of handles. And again, this is to speed up the process, all right? And to get you guys knives quicker. What we're speculating now, right now is there's a learning curve. So what we're looking at right now is, instead of on these 4 models waiting 8 to 10 months to get your knife, perhaps we could get it done in 4 or 5 months. All right. So it almost cuts the waiting time in half if we do it this way. That's what our goals are. That's what our projections are. All right. Now, again, this is the first runs of this. This is not the first time they've done handles for me. They've been doing handles for the last couple of weeks to see if it's possible on some of their own knives, as far as WC knives for their store. They've been setting handles for those knives, and just to see how well it works. And so far, it's worked that well. So we're gonna try these 4 knives on the first run, and see how that works. But I think that it's going to be fine. Okay, that's one reason. It frees me up to do heat treat. It frees me up to grind blades. Okay, so you get more product that way. All right, Now, we gonna flood the market? No, we're not gonna do that. I'm still a one-man shop. It's just that I've outsourced the handle set and the sales and the logistics of all of that, okay? So I only have to deal with one supplier for these 4 knives, all right? Now, all the knives that's on order on the books now, it is still being done in sequence as they were ordered, just like all my updates state. I'm not placing these ahead of anybody, okay? These will be done as they're ordered, just like the other knives, okay? This just gives me a little bit time to take care of what's on the books, all right? Okay. I hope I'm not jumping around too much because there's a lot to cover here. Another reason is he has the personnel to respond to questions timely. He has the personnel for customer service that I do not have. So that's another reason why these are being sold through his store. For these 4, I expect they to sell anywhere from 40 to 50 each. So you're looking at 200 blades as 200 customers. And I just don't have the wherewithal to respond and to do adequate customer service that you guys deserve. So that's another reason why logistically it's smart to partner with Great Northern Knives for this and see how it works, okay? I know you guys have used Great Northern Knives in the past tremendously, and I have not heard anything but good results from that. So it's just another step in that evolution, if you will. Also, Great Northern has a CNC machine, and that could lead to other things in the future once we get to where we have a process and things are ironed out, okay? It's just like when I was in the construction business, we would build hotels and we would always have a soft opening just to kind of work out the kinks and the bugs. This is a soft opening, if you will. I ask that you, if you have any questions, to contact Great Northern Knives. Allow them the opportunity to work out any issues or difficulties so that they can streamline their process, okay? And of course, if that doesn't work for you, you can always reach out to me. The most important aspect of all of this is customer service. That's what I'm looking at. Getting you guys knives in a timely manner and having someone to respond to your concerns or issues in a timely manner, okay? So it's all about the customer, because without you guys, there would not be a WC Knives, all right? I would be just making knives for myself. But anyway, all right, I hope that is clear. It's just for these knives and some of the other things that Great Northern is doing. They're starting to set a lot of their handles that sold through their store. This is the first new run or prototype run that we are going to do this for, as far as excuse me, allergies, notifying the public. Again, the blades will be finished and sent to Great Northern, ready for a handle to be set. They will be water jetted to my specs. They will be heat treated to my specs. They will be ground to my specs here in the shop by me, okay? Once that blade is 100% complete, then it will be sent to Great Northern, and they will set the handles according to my designs, okay? It will still be a WC knife in look, feel, quality, in every way, all right? Okay. I hope that's clear as mud, all right? So at the time of this release of this video, these 4 knives are available for pre-order on the Great Northern Knives website. I expect these knives to be released as far as to the public. Let me back up. I expect these knives to be fabricated and shipped to the customer by late summer at the latest, is what I'm speculating. So it just depends on how many are sold. And I think that we're going to do a limited offering in these. So if you want one of them, I would suggest that you place the order now. They will only be offered as first runs, since first runs is becoming a huge collector as far as the WC knives. Those that say first run, there's a lot of them that buy every first run that comes out. It's becoming a huge collector's knife. So to streamline this and to get her feet wet and all of this, would probably be a limited run. How many, I don't know. But if it's anything like the Slick, there was 100 of them sold, over 100, and still people wanting to buy it. But so to keep it as a collector's item and to keep the collector's spirit alive, we're not going to do mass runs of these, okay? I think that we're going to keep this as a collectible that's functional in every way, all right? So I don't know how many that's going to be yet. Jeff and I are still talking about that, but I would suggest that you go to their website and get all the details, the pricing. Another reason to go with the Great Northern is they have several leather shops that's local to them that they use. So that's another benefit to the customer, is that sheath options is right there. So if there's something that you guys want, then perhaps they could do it. I don't know. You'd have to talk to them. All right, but that's another reason why it just makes good sense, smart business sense, to partner with Great Northern on this. At least give this a try and see how it works. I think it's going to be fine. I really do, because I've been partnering with Great Northern Knives for many years, and it has been a very, very amicable relationship. Jeff and I, we're very close friends, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful relationship. All right. So with that said, let's talk about knives. All right. First of all, the Master Carver. People have been saying, when can we get the Master Carver? Here is the Master Carver. This was the original Master Carver. The handle has changed. After using this style of handle, I knew that I had to change all of my smaller designs to this handle. This handle is just phenomenal. It fills up the hand, has scallops, thumb scallops on either side. Give you some specs. These are made out of 3/32 AEBL stainless steel. Rockwell will be between 61 and 62. The blade is 2.5. Overall is 6 7/8. Handle is 4 3/8. The width of the handle is, I'd say about an inch, give or take. Now all of these are still handmade, so they're going to vary slightly here and there. The width of the blade at the handle is about 7/8, I would say. All right, but changing that handle just changed the whole knife. I mean, it's just, you could see with the smaller handle, I was squeezing the knife all the time, trying to feel that blade. But with this, you don't. You feel that knife, you know where that knife blade is at all times. And the purpose of this knife is a detail carver or a crafts knife. If you notice, it has a scandy portion here for those twisting cuts, those indents woods and things like that. So you have a slightly tougher edge. And then it thins down into a saber portion with a fine point that is a detail point, so that you can get in there and has a precision point to get in there and do those eyes and figurine carving and crafts and stuff, where you want to know where that point is, that it's very easy to find that point. whereas on Sloyd knives, and we'll get to this in a minute, is designed for something totally different. A Sloyd knife is really not a good detail carving knife. A worn clip or something like this is a better detail task knife for that reason, because of that point is straight. And for those of you who don't like to sharpen curves, it has a straight grind. This bevel is 12.5 degrees on either side. So you just lay it on the stone and follow it all the way through. It's very intuitive to sharpen. It's a phenomenal knife for a beginner. If you have a child that's just learning knife skills, it's a very good knife for starting out. Okay, or maybe they started with a Moore and they're ready for an upgrade as far as knife quality. Then this is a very good option for that. Okay, so it's just one of those knives that see, I've been testing these knives out on just carving things. That point is just, it's very detailed. See there? Whereas with a Sloyd knife, it's a different profile, blade profile for different tasks, okay? So this is a great little EDC knife, a little detail knife if you want to get into carving. Again, it's AEBL steel, so it's easily touched up. It holds a fantastic edge. AEBL is one of my favorite steels. I can make a knife out of anything that I wanted, but I always go back to AEBL because it works. It holds a great edge, and it's easily touched up. So what more do you want from a steel? And it's stainless. So, it's just I would say that it's one of my top 3 in steels. I would hate to have to choose between AEBL Nitro V and some of the CPMs. The Magna Cut is another steel that's been very good. All right, but again, this one is available for pre-order on Great Northern Knives website, and there will be a link below. It's just greatnorthernknives.com, and you should be able to see it there, or give them a call. They'll be happy to help you out. Okay. The next one is the Master Sloyd. Same handle, okay, different blade, all right? If you want to see a comparison, see, that's the comparison. Whereas this has a straight detail point, this has a curved with a very, very fine point, okay? And that fine point is for green wood carving, okay? So if you're going to do spoons or things like this, you want to have a very fine tip so you can get in there and do those twisting cuts in those spoons. You can see that. Like so. That's the difference between a Sloyd knife, or what is considered a Sloyd knife, and a carving knife. Most carvers will not use a curved blade for their detailed carving because of those points and those straight lines. Whereas a curved line or curved blade actually assists in slicing. So when you're doing those twisting cuts and very precision detail work, polishing spoon shafts and things like that, then that's where the Sloyd knife comes in, okay? So it's good for carving pot hangers and things like that on camp. Has a curved Scandi. See the curved Scandi with that tooth, and that tooth just bites into the wood. So it's like a faceted point or one serration. So when you're doing the pot hangers and things like that, doing those V cuts, then it's a dream to use with those tasks. Feather sticks, all guys all know with a curved blade how well it does feather sticks. It's very controllable. And again, it has that 12.5 degree Scandi all the way through. The best way to sharpen that is with a ceramic rod or hone it. It's going to come sharpened. It just needs to be honed to be maintained. If you want to strop it, then that's an option as well. Has the thumb scallops, a very generous handle. These knives are only going to come in the green, black and natural micarta. Okay, that's just to streamline the process until we get up and running, okay? So these knives are only gonna come in green, black, and natural canvas micarta. The Master Sloyd is made from 3/32 AEBL. The blade cutting portion is 3 inches. The overall length is a little over half, maybe 7 5/8. Okay, again, they're all handmade, so there'll be some variances, slight variances here and there. The width of the blade at the handle is about 1 inch, and the handle width is the same. It's 7/8 to 1 inch, something like that. Okay. So anyway, that's all of them will have 90-degree spines, and it's very easy to take that 90 degrees off. It just take you some emery cloth or very fine sandpaper or steel wool, and just hit the back of that blade and knock them corners off. And the reason I have 90 degrees on all of my knives is because it's easier for me to put a 90 degree on there and you to take it off in the areas that you want than it is for you to try to put a 90 degree area in the areas that you want, okay? It's easier to take a 90 degree off than it is to put one on. And not everyone likes the rounded corners in the same area. So everyone is different. So it's customizable. And the handles, if you guys like a rounder handle, these are kind of square, just so it doesn't twist and turn in your hand, but it's still comfortable. If you want to round it off a little bit more, then it's micarta. Just take a sander, a little palm sander, and hit the edges once you're done. Then put a little, warm it up, and put some more oil on it, seal it back up. I mean, it's very easy to work. So anyway, there's the Master Sloyd. I've done with the Master Sloyd. There's been several prototypes sold, so I've been working on this design for a while. But this is it, folks. That is the Master Sloyd, okay? The next knife is the Master Trapper. And if you guys have been following my social media, you know that Dan, Trapper Dan, is got a YouTube channel. He does trapping professionally. Has been field testing this knife for several months, as well as Tim Roper with the Meat Trapper, who has a YouTube channel, has been field testing this knife for several, I say several months. I think it's been about 2 or 3 months. But anyway, and so this is the final design. It has some light jimping up here, just enough that your finger can rest. I added thumb scallops on the final version of this because Matt Mercer has been using one, and he swears up down it's one of the best bushcraft knives he ever used. And I thought, well, you know, and I've been using it in the same way. And it is. I mean, it ticks a lot of boxes. It really does. EDC Dan said he uses his as an EDC knife, even in town and everywhere, because it's just very functional. It has that tooth there to go through the gristle. And I'll link some of their videos to the end of this one if you want to see their findings on this knife in the field trials. And Matt Mercer should have his videos released here pretty quick too. So I'll post those on social media as I get them. But anyway, it has that little hump up there so you can get to run up those legs of those animals. It has a slight curve, so it's very precise, keeps the tip out of the way so you don't puncture the fur. Taxidermist detail, it's just a phenomenal small knife with a generous handle that you can use all day long and don't have to suffer the cramps and the hand fatigue that you do with a lot of the smaller bladed knives. This is 3/32 AEBL, has the curved Scandi. It's just like the Master Sloyd. The only difference is the tip. Basically what I did was I just took the blade from here to there in a straight line and for the Sloyd, okay? Grinds and everything else is the same. This is a very fine tip. If you get it in a bind, it will snap, okay? It depends on what kind of bind you get it in. That tip will snap off. That's not a warranty issue. That is a use issue. You just have to sharpen it and get it back on there, okay? Because all of these are Rockwell tested here in the shop before they go out. So the heat treat is good. It's just you put it in a place it didn't belong, all right? Very fine point, all right? This one has a little bit stronger point. It's not as fine. So it'll do those, get into those joints a little bit easier and better. And but anyway, it still has that one faceted hook or tip point right there. So it goes through the gristle a little bit better, easier, smoother. And it does feathers like a dream. That's what Bass said. So anyway, yeah, it's just very, very controllable. That's what you want in a knife. You want it to be controllable. So when you're using the knife, if it's controlled, it's less likely to hurt you, to cut you. That's what I have in my knives, is I want enough grip there that you can control that blade. It doesn't get away from it, even especially in those cavities of those animals and things like that, and your hand doesn't slip up. You have enough contours there to get in there, and in every situation that you want, you have enough grip in that handle to do all that securely and safely, okay? So the, again, 3/32 AEBO. Cutting edge is 3 1/8. Overall is 7 5/8. The handle width is the same. It's about 7/8 or so. But yeah, I mean, it's both of these. I mean, even if you wanted a little caping set, that's probably one of the better caping sets you can get. I mean, it's just, and just because the name says Sloyd doesn't mean that that's all it can do. Just because it says Trapper doesn't mean that's all it's good for. I design all of my knives to be very versatile. That's one of the boxes that's part of design, is versatility. If it's not versatile, then it's not a WC knife. That's the reason I use a lot of compound grinds, a lot of multi-grinds, is because I want that versatility. So when you go to a thicker size or a thicker edge, or behind the edge is thicker, it takes off a lot more meat and has a little bit stronger edge than, say, going into a saber with a very thin apex, okay? But a saber slices better. A full flat slice is better, but it's not as strong. So you get the best of several different worlds there when you do compound grinds. That's the reason I like them, is the versatility, okay? All right, the last one is the Taskmaster. And this one's made out of 1/8 inch AEBO. Now, this knife, if you got utility knives or blades, so I remember how to get into this thing. Well, that's a utility blade, all right? I can't remember how to get into this thing. I don't know why they make things so complicated. So this one is designed similar to that, all right? It's got the long straight edge. It has a little dip here, and that is for your finger, okay? So you have control of that very fine tip, all right? Now, I'll be right back. I forgot a knife. All right, you want to do an insert. Just got off the phone with Jeff and Sean over at Great Northern Knives, and to keep the integrity of these first runs, we're going to limit, and also this being the first attempt at this, we're going to limit the sales on these first runs to 30 per model. So each model will only be 30. So, and there's no time limit. Once they're gone, they're gone. So first come, first serve. That's the main thing that I wanted to get across. Also, they wanted to make sure that you guys understood, once you go to the link in the description, up at the top of that page is a orange dot that says pre-order. You have to click on that, and it'll take you to the web page where these knives are listed. Also, I forgot to give you dimensions on the Taskmaster. So let me do that right quick, right here. The straight cutting portion is about 3 inches. The scanty portion is about 1 inch. So the cutting edge is about 4 inches. The overall is 8 1/4. The handle size is about 4 1/4. So that's the dimensions. And of course the width of the handle is about 7/8. The width of the blade at the tooth is 1 inch, and it's 1 inch about at the handle as well. Okay, so now the rest of the video. See, I made this one and I thought this was it. All right, this is the knife. But no, after using that handle, I said that handle is better. So I changed the handle to that. I don't know if it's a kind of a modified broom handle, I think is what these is the best description for these. Has the thumb scallops. Also, I lengthened the tip. Can you see the difference in the tips? See there? It has a longer area here than here. This is more drastic. It's a finer tip. And actually, the way your thumb rides in that little groove, it's a very good little detail knife. Hence the Taskmaster. So you can get in there and do those very fine precision cuts. It's great in the shop. Matter of fact, this is what I use in the shop. Is the same knife. It's phenomenal at opening boxes. That little hook. So you know, it's gauge. It's a gauge, so you don't cut what's inside the box. You know, a lot of times you take a knife and cut it and cut what's inside of it. We've all done it. But that little hook right there is a gauge. So you don't cut what's inside of there. It's actually very good at ripping open boxes and doing leather cuts, kydex, things that you do every day in the shop or at work or wherever you're at in town. I mean, you know, you're always cutting something. And that's what this knife is designed and developed to do. It's a utility knife. And the reason the blade is angled, if I can get a straight edge here, is see how it picks your hand up. So the blade length is great for doing vegetables and little kitchen chores and you know, if you're in the backyard chef, I mean, cutting those steaks up and those onions and things like that. So it's fantastic for that. It ticks a lot of boxes. You know, when I was naming this knife, I really couldn't figure out a name, and so you know, it just task. It's the master of all task. I mean, it's kind of loosely, but you know, even skin and game, I think that it has a place for it. It kind of resembles what the trappers call the first cut or the money cut knife, which is a triangle, and that's that triangle right there. So, I mean, running up those legs and around that anal gland and all of that, this knife would be phenomenal for that. But anyway, the idea came from the Master Bushman, okay? So you can see the resemblance there. And if you go back and look at the introduction to the Master Bushman, you'll understand why this design is the way it is. The blade is narrow for more controlled twisted cuts and things like that. It's thinner steel than the Master Bushman. It has a very fine tip, okay? A place for your fingers so you have a lot of control, but it's very reminiscent of the Master Bushman. I took all the things I loved about the Master Bushman and I put it into this. And folks, I'm gonna tell you, this knife has to be in the top 3 in my book as far as a belt knife. The field lore is in the top 3 as far as a belt knife. So it's you know, I just love how it has that scanty portion, so it just bites into everything that you want to cut, has that faceted tooth. And if you haven't used that faceted tooth or that one serration in a knife, believe me, you're missing out. The more you use it, the more you realize how beneficial it is, okay? And again, these knives are not that difficult to sharpen. Just a ceramic rod, you lay it on the Scandi and just follow it all the way through. It's very simple. I have all kinds of videos on my YouTube channel, on this channel, that demonstrates the sharpening of these knives. If you can sharpen a Scandi knife, and it's very intuitive, you just lay it on there until the Scandi touches and just follow that same angle all the way through. A round ceramic rod works great. A fine diamond rod works great. Honing, if you like a polished edge, I don't like a real polished edge for most cases. I think it has a place, but not for a daily carry, I don't think. I like a little bit coarser edge, and I've explained that in other videos if you care to watch them. It's just, again, it is, I keep going back to it because it's the best knife for me in this shop working. Cutting tape, cutting leather, cutting kydex, boxes. I mean, just everything that you want to cut in a shop or a workplace, this is the utility knife for that. Has so many ways to hold it, to grab it, to control it, that it's a razor blade on steroids with a Scandi portion and a tooth. That's pretty much what it is. It's just a greatly improved utility knife. Okay, all right. This video is going on 35 minutes, so I'm hoping that you guys get a grasp of this. Go visit the Great Northern Knives website, and there will be a link in the description to their website. And you should be able to find under WC Knives these offerings, and it will be for a limited time. These are only going to be listed for about 2 weeks for the first runs. Now, whether we're going to have production runs or not, I don't know. It depends on demand, okay, and my time. But right now, we're limiting. These will be offered as first runs for a very limited time of 2 weeks. Now, how many that's going to be? It's not going to be open for thousands of runs. Okay, we're gonna keep this as a collectible. We're trying to keep the integrity of a collectible there, so that when you buy one that says first run, it means something. Okay, so anyway, I hope you guys enjoy these knives. They have been a long time coming because I've tweaked the design here and there, but they're there. Changing the handle up was the final thing that made these knives. I think that this handle design is perfect for this size of knife. So for the larger knives, then of course the standard Coke bottle, or wide mouth Coke bottle I call it, is great for those knives because you got more uses for a larger knife. But for knives of this size, I think that this is the right handle for that. Okay. Now these, like I said, they will be listed for sale for a limited time, limited quantities on Great Northern Knives. They will come with sheaths. Go visit their website for pricing. And again, their pricing would not be any different than it would be if it was sold on my website. Retail price is retail price. Okay. So there you have it. It benefits all of us. We all win in this situation. I don't see any downside to this. I think that this is the beginning of something that could be, well, I think it could be special. All right, until the next one, you guys get in the backyard, whittle on a stick. Be sure and take a child with you. You get the opportunity. And don't forget those plenty of Band-Aids and lots of knives. And we'll catch you again very soon.